this probably isn't a good idea, but see what happens. This is a bad idea. You can talk me out of it, but you're not trying to talk us out of it. Thought you were my friend. Right, so yeah, just one more thing to say. Jet engine. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today, this is Jonathan's advice, I'm going to be firing up the Seat and getting it up to temperature and do an oil change on it. He says just like before I take the engine out, but as well just like giving this a check over to make sure it's alright before we put it into the other car. Fair enough. So I'm going to get it started, warm it up, drop the oil and put some fresh in it, a new filter, and then we're going to stick it on the dyno, because I figured it's an old car, it's been off the road for 5 years, but yeah, I don't know when it was last serviced either, so it'd be interesting to see what it's running like, what power it actually is at the minute, and then what happens along the way when we service it and then start tuning it and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing today. Also in this video, this week I'm getting ready for, calling it Rip the Strip. I think it sounds good. We've got airfield hired for this Sunday. So we've hired a runway. And it's just over there. Like literally the police are on it today testing. I wish I'd brought the drone actually, put it up and go and have a look. So yeah, it is an active airfield. It's only like light aircraft, you know, like hobby sort of stuff. Occasionally the military come and, you know, fill up the Chinooks and stuff like that and do bits and pieces. But in general, it's just light aircraft. So yeah, on Sunday we've got the airfield, and the airfield will still be live. We've got some walkie-talkies so that I can talk to the tower, and basically they're just going to radio us and tell us to watch out for aeroplanes. Yeah, you know, if anything's coming in sort of thing. So yeah, it should be interesting. Plan is to, well, I'm trying to get the numbers up to 10 cars. So what we get is what we get, but no more than 10 anyway. So we'll get some footage for that. We're going to do a photo shoot with the RB, you know, running down the airstrip, and we're going to do some stuff in the unit with it as well on the night. So yeah, all sorts going on this week. So I'm kind of mainly getting ready for that, but I'm kind of in limbo, you know. So I'm like, what do we do now? Because I've got now big to really get my teeth stuck into. Because if I'm going to start this, I can't finish it. But I figure I may as well take the engine out. That kind of step forward, isn't it? So that's what I'm starting on with today. But like I said, it'd be interesting to see what it does on the dyno. It's an interesting battery clamp, finger tight. These little jump start boxes are good. Noco Boost Plus. Not a bad old little car, like little boost gauge there. That'll get transplanted into the RB. Decent. I like anything with the R on because it's my initial. A bit mouldy. It's a good car, really. So it's got really scabby Brembos on it as well. They come standard with the R's are. The R's become standard with the Brembos apparently. So gonna see what we can do about a disc transplant as well. Caliper and disc transplant onto mine. It's not a major job, Jonathan's done loads of those. Right, I'll take it around the other side of the garage. You may as well come with us. So I finally got it round here. Bit of a mission. On and off with the starter, kept on stalling. I think the brakes are a bit seized on, the tyres are flat and whatnot, so I didn't want to move. So it's in, it's warming up now. Thought I only had like 2/3 of a can of petrol, so I don't know whether I'll get a dyno run out of that. The needle did move a little bit, but aye, surely. Anyway, I'll get off and get sorted at the front end of this. It's got moss growing on it. I think moss is amazing. Think about it, right? There's little creatures. It's a blurry bit of moss. There's little creatures live on that bit of moss that's spent their whole life on that little bit of moss, and they don't know anything else. There's no other world to them. Like, at the minute they think, what the f***'s going on? Like, we're having an earthquake sort of thing. But like, that's kind of like us, isn't it? You know, that's just a little world inside our world, which is a world inside a bigger world. I like moss. Keeps on making an intermittent clicking noise. I don't know what that is. Coming from this sort of area, kind of sounds like, can you hear it? Sounds injectory. I'll put you closer. I'm just waiting to see if the fan comes on, but like the radiator fan. But as yet it hasn't. I think I'll probably keep this engine cover, flat this back, because it does look like carbon. It is carbon. And I'll flat that back, get rid of that, and then put my on it. I'm going to go over to Jonathan's to get a big bar, because I haven't got one. In fact, I better knock this off there. Whoa! Stick some jip in this battery when, well, I'm messing on with this. Not too bothered about scraping the paint off. I was getting ahead of myself there. I was taking the trying to take the wheels off, and I'm like, hang on a minute, we need to stick it on the dyno. I can't take them off yet. So we've got the walkie-talkies for the weekend, so we can speak to the tower. And now I can speak to Jonathan. Hiya, Jonathan, are you there? I'm just being a pest. That's good though, it works. Nothing new. It's good to be able to communicate with him while it's, you know, while he's over there and I'm over here. Do you feel this brings us a little bit closer? No. I'll see if I can get that a bit higher. My jack's only small. It's like just a short stumpy thing. I'll see if I can get it a bit higher, and there's an under tray. I'll have to get that off first. Well, that's the under tray off. And, it was only held on by 3 screws and a cable tie. But yeah, just looking at it there, it's got some, what do they call them, NASA ducts or whatever. You know, good effort, guys. Right, now I can have a dig what's going on underneath. You don't believe what's just happened. Done the oil change. Jonathan came round because I couldn't get the sump plug out, it was solid. So he comes round, whacks it, took it out straight away. Ended up doing the oil change. I don't know, I must have ended up like doing other things, and like when I came back, he'd done it and changed the filter. So he says, right, just dipstick it and top it up, you know, once you've got it running and that. So I've just pulled the dipstick out to clean it, and look what's happened. You see that? It's kind of exploded, and like bits of plastic went everywhere. Quite a bit of plastic like that's come off, and there's a big chunk here. So I suppose that looks like it's the end. So if that bit's came off, if that bit's still there, rather, that must go there. Yeah, it does. Hopefully most of it's actually like came out when I pulled it, because I just like, and it went poof, you know, bits of plastic everywhere. So hopefully nothing's went back down the spout, that's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna just fire a bit of masking tape over this just to hold it together, because it's very crumbly. But yeah, that would be imagine, you know, if like thing blows up because of that. Anyway, where was the oil? Another look, I've been waving it about. Oh, it doesn't properly go in now. Ah, well, we've got a right dilemma, haven't we? Because I can't really properly check the oil. Nah, it's just below full and it wasn't all the way in, so be about right, won't it? Give it a run and give it another little top up. Wonder if it'll start. That charging light's not coming on. It says it's just maintaining. I'm gonna guess it's knackered, but see if it'll start anyway. Nope. Yeah, I heard something fall off and spin you around. So that was on the floor, but can you see what's hanging down? Sideways, curly thing. The spring snapped and so actually you can see a bit better from here. Yeah, there you go. So obviously the car didn't like being compressed too much at that side. Just heard a noise, did you hear that? I think it was Jonathan calling. Was that you?
No.
You won't believe the problems that I'm having. Like, first of all, I pulls the dipstick out to check the level, and the plastic neck around the dipstick that, you know, goes into the tube sort of like shattered and exploded, and bits of plastic went everywhere, hopefully not back down the f***ing tube. And then I've went to jack it up to get it off the axle stands, and the rear spring has, I think, snapped, and now it's horizontal and something else fell off the car as well. I don't know what that was. Like, it might have been something to do with the spring, but yeah, mental.
Yeah, them tubes are good for doing that. I don't know what you've broken on the back, but you're right, won't it?
Yeah, it's just lowered. I like these walkie-talkies. Saved us going over and getting them, you know what I mean? It's handy stuff. And obviously it will be for the airfield as well. Right, I need to get this down. Richard to Jonathan, are you receiving me? Over. So the stuff's sort of rattling, and there's a circle here, like around that building there. I think it would be awesome to, I don't know, use it for some sort of racing. It's just had a new front put on the building, they're putting new sides on and everything. The roof was done a little while ago. Certainly a bit lower at the back anyway. So obviously it's affected that side as well, but not as much. I think he's in the garage. It's got a new door as well. This is one of the hub dynos that he's been making. Perfectly balanced. I'll probably show you. What are you doing? Oh, of course, yeah. Like, he's been dead cryptic today. Like, that's probably the most in-depth answer you give us when I've asked that. Well, anyway, I've got this this beast with us. So, seeing as you held up there,
What beast?
the Seat. So, can we put it on the dyno? So, I mean, he's been dead cryptic, probably. Do you want to have a look at the Escort? It's got its front off. Oh, better knock the radio off. So, because this is now off, it's not often that you see this, but I was looking at it the other day. I realised why it makes such a hell of an awesome noise. Supercharger isn't plumbed in, but it's belted up. So, that's just blowing, just trying to blow the bonnet off, really. I bet there's no cobwebs underneath your bonnet, Jonathan. Every time you start this up, it'll be like, just everything will get blasted out from underneath. How long ago did you do this? 12 years ago. Oh, if you go from scratch, yeah.
No, but like...
Oh, the engine and...
The paint was before Toby was born as well.
Right.
So like this setup was from back forward.
Right.
I've done that on it since then.
Oh, right.
Apart from now doing the gearbox.
And scanned it to death. I'm sure you've scanned a layer of paint off it. Isn't this a cool old thing? Mark II Escort. But is that, it isn't a estate, but is it like a combi type thing, or?
That was how the estates were, the two-door estate.
They weren't a four-door.
Yeah.
What a gift there. So it would have looked shit four-door, wouldn't it?
It would. So the back end was actually a Mark 1.
It is, yeah.
This is how they were, though.
Yeah.
There were a Mark 1 rear end and a Mark 2 front end. Same with the vans as well. The vans were a Mark 1 Escort van, the rear,
yeah,
with the front end Mark 2.
Right, and obviously there was a Mark 1 version of them as well. So this is the rolling road that Jonathan made for himself. I think when I met him, he'd made a two-wheel drive one. This is a four-wheel drive one, but it's not worked out yet with the four. It just causes problems, and most of the stuff that he does is two-wheel drive. Like that thing blew up last time he used it, so it's still two-wheel drive. But how long did it take you to make this? Like if you were going to build another, so how long would you spend making this? And would you make it the same?
Couple of months maybe. I would do stuff slightly different actually. Brakes, the brakes to hold it still I would do differently because they're in the way for the ramps.
Yeah.
So I'd probably have them on the front at this side.
Right.
So they're out of the way, but still able to brake because they're on there.
And they're working quite well though, aren't they?
Oh, this works well now. It used to have a water brake on it, which was belt driven to here, and the water brake used to sit against that. But I took all that off and put the water.
Right, so that was an evolution of the old dyno that you had at back cars.
Yeah. I ran that for quite a bit, and then I got these eddy brakes.
Yeah, this is a much better way of doing it. And what about covers and Are you not gonna, like, how come you haven't made covers for it? Just because, like, mechanic?
There's no point there.
Why?
Because you need access to stuff while you know, if something goes wrong you can quickly fix it, whereas with all covers on you've got all the covers to pull off and shit gets in behind the covers and that.
Oh, I'd have a cover on that.
Ground clearance is also an issue. If you have a cover you've got less ground clearance for the cars.
Yeah. Surely you can get it right down to that plate though.
Well, no.
I'd have a cover on there with a big bat on it. Bat dyno.
Not bat dyno. That needs to move a little bit so you can't have it too close to it. Because it actually pushes on that, so it's free to rotate other than the load cell.
Alright.
So you wouldn't want it catching on it and...
Ah, right, okay. So he's got me worried now. He keeps on saying, what if it blows up? He's got a good point, what if it does blow up? Oh, I'd have to rebuild it. Well, he'd have to rebuild it. I don't like this spanner stuff. I like sanding. Anyway, got talking about stuff. What we were talking about, like, we got onto Tesla, you know, Nikola Tesla stuff, and then onto jet engines. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, and then I says, oh, we've got to make a jet engine. And he says, there's one over there, you know, because you can make a jet engine out of a turbo. So he says, there's one over there. So we went right over into the corner of the garage, and he dragged this out. It's a bit hard to make out here, but you've got a big turbo there off a truck. You've got a control box there. Obviously this is like a redundant project, isn't it? What would it, abandoned project? I don't know what you'd call it. It's a barn find. That's what it is. It's a barn find jet engine. Look at the state of the thing. It's covered in like metal bits and all sorts anyway, and apparently the turbo's knackered. We've never been round here, have we? I've never filmed round here. Look at this old thing. And then this old thing, there's just things everywhere. I love it. It's like my granddad's shed. Old lathe. How old's this lathe?
I couldn't find a date on that one. The milling machine's 1973 or 2 or something.
Oh, it's as old as me.
And that's like maybe 1950s-ish.
Where's the combustion chamber? Oh, right, see. So this is the other part of it. I don't know whether you heard that, but the radios went off. There seems to be a kid on the same channel. Let's put this down. So this is the combustion chamber. So I guess is the air coming in there and then burning in there and then into the turbo from there. And then inside here, it's got like baffles. I think you see. What's going on?
Don't give them the secret sauce.
The secret sauce. There you go. You can see the little baffly things to baffle things. And then, is that not the secret sauce?
Well, there's a bit of secret sauce going on in there.
But I've not seen anybody. He's putting pressurised air into it. Did you say?
Well, this one's actually a diesel jet, but I found that I needed to put air in behind it, just to blow it. Basically to make it blow it that way, because there's air coming in there which is swirling and going through, but I needed to make the diesel.
That's a bit inconvenient though. If you were going to be like making a jet powered skateboard or something, you can't exactly have a compressor as well.
No, it makes its own pressure.
Oh, right, okay.
So you just take it from the compressor housing and bring it into...
Oh, of course, yeah, it's already got it is a flipping compressor.
Yeah. Quite a bit of pressure in there when I was running it. I can't remember how many PSI it was, but it was quite a bit. Spark plug thing goes on there.
Yeah.
So that sparks away all the time.
And what's that?
Well,
Is that where you're putting the air in?
One of these was air. I can't remember which
Right.
one was air now. But that was, like I say, it was just to make sure that there was air behind the flame.
Yeah, to keep, Ace. So, barn find jet engine. That's going to have to be a name of an episode, isn't it? Because we've got to fix that. Like, you can't just have something like that lying about. I mean, what can we put it on? Well, I've always wanted to make a jet-powered skateboard because I wanted to get in the Guinness Book of Records for breaking the world land speed record on a skateboard. Long story. And I can't even ride a skateboard. And so yeah, that's a unfulfilled life goal. It was a stupid one, mind you. Actually, yeah, well, that's another story, isn't it? Oh, that got us into all sorts of carry on, that did. Anyway, there's a jet engine sitting about in here and it just needs a turbo and it needs a complete rebuild really, but there's a framework there and the concept's there. And it's something I want to do. I've always wanted to make a jet engine. I've got another story about that as well, which I'll explain on the jet engine episode that's coming up soon. So guys, what do you think is going to happen here? It's anybody's guess really, isn't it? It's been off the road for 5 years and God knows when it was last serviced, so this probably isn't a good idea, but see what happens. It'd be nice to know how much it's gone down just for research purposes. But anyway, it's going to be down. John, what do you reckon? What do you reckon? Oh, he's got his glasses on. Put your glasses on. No, put your glasses on because it makes you look intelligent, right?
Not intelligent.
What horsepower do you think this is now after 5 years of sitting and God knows when it was last serviced? It started off life as 225. What do you think it'll be now? Do you think it'll be higher or lower?
195.
195? Seems quite a reasonable guess, really. Seems quite a reasonable guess. Well, ask Jonathan. John says the exhaust's blowing. Is that not good? It's less back pressure. 225 it's supposed to be.
I said 195.
195 he says. What do you reckon? You're the expert.
Yeah, it depends what boost is making this.
Yeah, I reckon it's
Boost bank.
yeah, it might just have it might have a horrible boost leak. I don't think any bits fell off it on the way around here, but the back spring is hanging out. I've always liked the shape of these. I think they're nice looking cars there. It does look a bit soft doesn't it? Oh, the sidewalls aren't great, they're a bit perished, so that was also a concern about the putting it on the dyno. Jonathan, I don't think there's that doesn't look good. That's not gonna, and it's definitely gone down again. Pump it up with your doofer and see what it's at. And what do you think to that tyre, Jonathan? Yeah, this is a bad idea. You can talk me out of it, but you're not trying to talk us out of it. Thought you were my friend. So okay, let's move on. What happens if a tyre explodes on a dyno?
It's go everywhere.
Did you see the cracks in that tyre? We just want one power run out of it. And it's only got about a fiver's worth of petrol, which is like £3 worth of petrol. Back when I thought about the price of petrol, been driving the diesel for years. Right, he's strapped it down. What is that? That's for just testing the
AFR.
The what?
AFR, air fuel ratio.
Oh, the air fuel ratio. He's inserted that into the exhaust in a similar way as vets do. Similar stuff. I got to that point and then I can't work out where it's went from there. Where does that pipe go? So what's that? It's power supply?
No, that's the dyno controller.
Oh, right. And that's a sensor off a car or something? Boost.
Yeah, it's a boost pressure sensor. It's calibrated to that.
Right, cool. Jonathan could be a star in Wallace and Gromit. Do you like Wallace and Gromit? I like the machines that they make. It's like a special sort of scrap heap challenge, isn't it? BATCAR
Okay.
We can't call it back car 1, that is definitely not back car 1. Just put Cupra R or something. Oh, what's that noise that it's making? Purge valve. Right, so I'm wondering where to leave the camera because I don't want to be in here. 195, I haven't said anything, have I? I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to go like 200 because it goes with the RB 200. I'm going to go for 200.
Well, I'm going to go higher then.
Okay.
I'm going to go 210.
210, eh? Okay. Yeah, 25 brake horse would be a lot to lose, really, wouldn't it? $207.
207, but it limited early for some reason. I think it's because the mixer's still showing 14 there. I wasn't actually watching this one to double check that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Should have kept up higher there.
Yeah.
But it definitely limited or misfired. But it was really lean on there.
Yeah.
I think these have got a wideband on, so it probably needs a lambda sensor on it.
Would that be about right?
1.3 there, and then it drops, and then holds the bar.
Right.
Yeah, probably about right.
Yeah, it's consistent anyway,
really,
isn't it?
Really lean for
Yeah.
that though. That was probably lean protection kicking in.
It held together anyway, that's all we needed.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, I was waiting for it to rev.
Yeah, it didn't seem to rev out like, so like what revs did it get up to?
Just after 5 in the minute.
Right. Aye, so it would have been better then.
Lean protection because it's really lean.
Aye, so it would have been better then, but like that's where it's at the minute, isn't it? Because it's doing what it's doing, so even the lambda sensor would like increase the, if that's what it is, it would increase the.
If that's what it is, it could be lambda, it could be airflow meter, it could be there's a leak.
Yeah.
It is making boost.
Yeah. Consistent, it's not like up and down.
Spikes and then
Yeah, it did, I suppose. In general then, do you give it the okay to start taking it out?
Yeah, I mean, we can sort other stuff anyway, can't we?
Yeah. Okay, well, like we'll do the lambda sensor and all the other bits and pieces and just track it all down, and it'll be right by the time it goes back together. It's reasonably healthy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're using the standard ECU, then all that needs sorted, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that airflow meter looks old, so that could be dodgy.
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with fueling. Fuel pump might not be very good. Filter might be blocked.
There's a whole bunch of stuff, isn't there? But like the car's like.
It's sat for ages as well, so.
Yeah, it's sat for ages, and it's. Well, no, because it ran out, and I put like a fiver's worth in it. Put fiver's worth in it, like. So 207 brake horsepower. Yeah, you were closest. Jonathan was closest. Cool. You don't get no prizes.
What horsepower did it make?
207. It's still more than what the RB's got in it at the minute. So because that's 140 if it was alive. So the only way. Oh, got me all back. The only way is up. I must have like the beauty mode on the camera because it looks better on the screen than it does in real life. What?
That's my clutch.
All right.
So if you watch that, I'll press it. Demonstrate.
Yeah, so it's just a clutch on the cable with a spring. Yeah, so that's your return. Right, all right, that's your return.
It makes it feel like
Right, so that's to give you the clutch feel.
Yeah.
That's cool. Valve spring. Right, okay. Because you've put it already had a clutch in it, whereas Rudy's had to get a pedal put in it, but obviously this was a manual car and it already had a clutch in it anyway. But
that was the cable that went to the original clutch.
yeah.
So I've just put that on to make it.
Yeah, and you've got and so what else have you put onto the clutch pedal, or you put something on it?
There's a little potentiometer for reading the clutch travel.
Yeah.
So that's just it's a linear potentiometer that I've used on this one, but you could use a rotary one and have a linkage as well.
Yeah, yeah.
This one's like, if you imagine that's the pedal, it's like a pin and it just follows the pedal.
Right, okay. So you've got it working off buttons at the minute.
Well,
You were driving it before, so
they're what's going in that gear stick. They're
yeah.
just my up and down buttons,
Right.
and then that's the reverse and neutral button.
Right.
So that's all you need for them.
For your internal controls, and then you've got
And
the.
I've got the screen just set in there at the minute. It needs some trimming up here in the corners, stand that up a bit more. But you can go into the setup mode,
Tell them about the switch for a new pedal.
and then you can see
I see.
the clutch value there as I change it. So that's the raw value. So that's what's coming in digitally coming in, and then this is what I've calibrated it to, and these are the calibration values up here. You know how well you can see that.
Reasonably well, I think.
So when you press the clutch, you get 0 to 100. 100 is off, like clutch off, but it's
Yeah.
engaged.
Obviously, this is just like an analysis mode. You don't need to know that while you're driving.
Well, you don't need to know where your clutch is, but you need to be able to calibrate it. So
Yeah.
you use that raw value and enter it in there,
Yeah.
and then you press the clutch and use that raw value and put it in there, and then that calibrates the clutch. And you can do the same with the throttle position if you've not got CAN bus throttle, because this is on CAN bus throttle, so you can see the throttle there. You can actually calibrate the throttle, analog throttle, and there's a setting for using analog throttle up there as well,
Yeah.
rather than using the CAN bus one. And then you can also set all your gear positions, or gear ratios rather, for each gear. So then that works out the slip percentages. You can change the gearbox input tooth number, because some of them are different, which I found out. And then you've got a different display. I can add more displays as well. So again, it'll show throttle. Doesn't show clutch, but if I put it into first, then it shows the values as the clutch changes up in that.
And is that wired up like the rev counter and everything working as well?
Yeah.
And are you going to have another screen in the middle?
No, I'm just going to run the one.
Yeah.
There's no need to run two.
No, it's excessive, isn't it?
They're just a bit weird, them two.
Alright. So yeah, Jonathan says he's going to have this ready for the rip the strip on the airfield. I'm going to go. It's that time of day. My car's ready. It just might blow up. Well, I'm only going to run it down the runway to
Which one you putting on?
the whiting, but just for photographic purposes. Gonna have Cubes. You need to drive my car, and Cubes hanging out the back of the. Yeah, check him about on that. I'm going to tie a bit of seatbelt strapping around him so he doesn't fall out. So he's looking forward to that. And then we're going to do.
He likes a bit of danger.
Yeah, I think he does. He likes a bit of danger. No, Cuba, the videographer. Have you met Cuba? Must have done. He edits all your videos anyway, so like he knows you quite well. So yeah. Anyway. Right. So yeah, just one more thing to say. Jet engine. No, there is something else to say because I was thinking, you know, like. You guys haven't been on any of the videos for ages because I've been, well, not much anyway because I've been around there and, you know,
Well,
I'm sure I'm.
changed so much on the floor, scraping it out, isn't it?
Aye, but yeah. So say bye, Jonathan.
Bye, Jonathan.
Good night.
Good night. But people might be watching this in the morning, right? And I go home anyway. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.